See, the saying isn't just build character, baby. The saying is just win, baby. I don't think Al Davis would be very thrilled by that. And I understand. Here's what happens. It's almost like the office whenever something bad happens and they talk to the people in the conference room, they find the silver lining in everything. Hey, everybody's getting laid off. Well, okay, that's great. I'll go do this. Oh, everybody's staying. Oh, that's great. I'll go do this. Like, you just deal with your circumstances and you find something in there that allows you to continue rather than wallowing in your defeat. I think that's what Derek Carr was trying to do.
Yeah. Listen, I'm with you. Just win, baby. We know the Raiders over the years have had some characters, without a doubt, but they won, and they were fun to watch. They were a wild group, and they won. That was at a different time, no doubt about that. This was just your good old fashioned butt whooping. I mean, nothing more. And you play long enough, and it happens. But boy, when it happens in a rivalry like this, especially after the Raiders last year, and we'll get into obviously what they did right before the game. We'll get into what kind of motivation that is. But the bottom line is when the ball is kicked off, a lot of that stuff is forgotten, save for maybe when you do something a couple of minutes before kickoff, it's not forgotten as quickly. But they just got smoked by a team in Kansas City who, like we've talked about all year, has been inconsistent. They seem to be getting consistent now, but do we expect 48 points from them every week? No, we saw them in the 40s another time this year, but we've also saw them struggle to score points. But this was one of those that you see when they are clicking on offense, what they can do and the amount of points that they can put up. And that's what people see as we get closer to the playoffs.
Most points they've scored since that epic game against the Rams 3 years ago. So 48, something they're not very accustomed to, and they needed it. That could give them the confidence moving forward. Mike, you mentioned the pregame motivation. The Raiders gathered on the logo. I saw people saying they were stomping on the logo. They didn't stomp on it, but they gathered there. And that they're professional athletes. They don't care about that kind of stuff. Well, let's have a listen to guys like Patrick Mahomes and Tyrann Mathieu as to whether or not the Chiefs took note of what happened and had a little extra spring in their step because of it.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of conversation about it. You definitely don't want people coming into your stadium and trying to disrespect things that you've kind of built. And so for us, just gave us a little bit more motivation to go out there and win against a really good football team that we have a rivalry against that usually is a tough football game. So I think guys were ready to play today, and I think it showed on the field.
It doesn't really move me. I don't think champions, really act in that manner. Yeah, it don't even matter.
So, I didn't hear about the logo thing until after the game, but that's pretty disrespectful, But I'm glad we jumped on them the way we did.
It's funny. Sometimes guys will try to downplay. They look for any motivation they can find. Mike, you know how that goes. And you're disrespecting our house. You're disrespecting our logo. And, yeah, we're ready to play, but thank you for making us just a little more ready to play.
Yeah, this motivation stuff, I'm kind of come see, come saw about, especially stuff during the week. When you hear talk or something during the week and you get reaction from the other team. My thought always is by the time we get to kickoff and you hit somebody, all that stuff does not matter one bit. Again, depending on to the degree of what is said. But for the most part, that's not going to decide an outcome. Now, when you do something, a couple of minutes before a game, when you walk all over their emblem there, that's a little more, again. Was Kansas City going to win this game and smoke them anyway? They very well could have. They're a better team than the Raiders are. But doing it right before the game, when you're in pads, when you're just about ready to start hitting one another, to do that is a little different. And you're right. Players will downplay that. You know what they won't want to do? They don't want to give the Raiders the respect that this had an effect on us. That's where Kansas City was going. Yeah, they did it. They're beneath us. They need to do stuff like that to try and motivate. We don't worry about that. We're a better team. So they tried to downplay it a little bit. But I guarantee you, those who saw it or when the news got back to them, I'm sure it riled them up a little bit and said, let's if we get the chance, let's just stomp these guys. And this is one of the few games where they got a big lead and they did put their throat or their foot on the throat of the opponent and just stepped and stepped and stepped over and over again. And I would imagine there were a few choice words out there as well. I know I would have been one of those throwing out some choice words for sure.
Chiefs scored on 7 straight possessions. And you're right, on a day when we saw so many leads get squandered, they did not give the Raiders any opportunity to get off the mat. They just kept going and going and going. And they got something out of Josh Gordon, which was encouraging because we keep waiting for someone else to step up. There's Mecole Hardman making a catch. They need somebody else in that offense to complement Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a good day. So, you know, I think that this Chiefs offense is gradually and slowly getting back to where it needs to be. The defense has done a great job as well. They're balanced. And I feel like it's lining up for the latest round of the Chiefs-Patriots heavyweight fight at some point between now and the end of the AFC postseason picture.
Yeah, listen, I agree. And yesterday, the ball was spread around a lot. Tyreek Hill led the way with 4 receptions. But, you know, you have Hill, you have Kelce, you have other parts there. And as far as Josh Gordon, Mike, I'm going to say this. I don't expect him to become a big part of that offense. I expect him to be a piece of that offense. We keep living off of what Josh Gordon did years ago. And make no mistake about it, unbelievable talent. But he has not produced in a long, long time. Quick little slant here for a touchdown. That's what he's going to be. He is never going to be the main part of this offense or that 10 reception guy. I don't think so, but he can be a piece of that offense. Do what he did yesterday. They do spread the ball around to different receivers. Another weapon for that team. But for those waiting for the Josh Gordon explosion of what he was, I think you're going to be waiting a long time. I just don't think you're going to see that anymore.
They're going to need somebody to step up, make a big play in a big spot, though, in a big game, like Sammy Watkins in the Super Bowl when he ran past Richard Sherman. They're going to need somebody to do it, whether it's Hardman, whether it's Gordon, whether it's Byron Pringle, Demarcus Robinson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Someone's going to have to do it.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.